Hey guys, I hope you're all having a great day today because the same cannot be said for the individual that we will be covering. And that is, of course, none other than the notorious Nintendo fanboy himself, Harman Smith. Now, you might be wondering, what could Harman possibly be crashing out over today? He's always crashing out. Well, he's crashing out over the Game Awards 2025, and more specifically at Expedition 33 for winning so many awards. But yeah, I don't want to keep you guys here any longer for the intro. Let's just go ahead and hear out what he has to say.
Instead of playing Expedition 33, I decided to watch a Let's Play. And what am I greeted with? A poorly written, poorly animated mess that is just mogged by far superior JRPGs like Yeast 10 and Dragon Quest 3.
I definitely don't think Expedition 33 is a poorly written or animated game. I'd actually say it's much better written and animated than a lot of big AAA games these days. I know that's not really saying much. And I don't really know why the fuck he's comparing it to Dragon Quest and Ys 10, whatever the hell that is, as they're completely different styles of games. Well, at least I know Dragon Quest is. I tried looking up Ys 10 and I literally could not even find a result. But knowing Harman, I bet this game is nothing like Expedition 33.
This game is a complete joke, and it really should be treated like a joke, especially after the Game Awards went to such lengths to try and pretend that this game was somehow this huge monumental achievement in video games, when in actuality it's not relevant. It never will be relevant. Nobody cares about it. And honestly, it's already been forgotten about.
I do find it really funny how everything you dislike is apparently irrelevant and forgotten about. I mean, Elden Ring, PC gaming, Doom, everything to you is just irrelevant and forgotten about. But it's so irrelevant and forgotten about that you will spend years talking about these games that you call quote-unquote irrelevant. And I guarantee all of you right now that Expedition 33 will be one of these games that he spends years seething about.
You know, just like Astrobot before it, this game is just going to get mogged by the far superior Nintendo games.
Astrobot did not get mogged. I can't believe he's unironically using the term fucking mogged. But yeah, I'm not gonna go on a side tangent about the word mogged. Yeah, the game did not get mogged, and it especially did not get mogged by any Nintendo game last year, as last year was a very slow release year for Nintendo because they knew they had the Switch 2 coming out this year. I mean, what came out last year that was good from Nintendo? They had Princess Peach Showtime. Are you gonna like argue that that mogged Astrobot? Come on, man.
Like, it's happened before, it'll happen again, and this is just the, the newest iteration of it, the newest update, the newest patch to try and keep the narrative spinning. And it is remarkable, watching this show and, like, seeing people seethe about Nintendo, seeing people like Jeff Keighley do everything he possibly can not to mention Nintendo or the Switch 2 at this event.
How did Jeff Keighley do everything not to mention Nintendo at this event when they literally gave 2 awards to Nintendo Switch 2 games? The best racing game went to Mario Kart World, and the best family game went to DK Bonanza. In fact, they literally had Doug Bowser himself come up on stage and get an award for DK Bonanza. But yeah, Harman, tell me more about how they're doing everything in their power not to mention Nintendo.
Like, the highlight of the Game Awards was Metroid Prime 4's commercial.
That may have been your highlight, but it definitely was not mine, and even if it was, that wouldn't be saying much because they barely showed anything off that I actually cared about. My personal highlight at the showcase was the Phantom Blade Zero gameplay. I'm actually looking forward to that game. And I guess as an honorable mention, I could also throw in Toxic Commando. What somebody's highlight is at the Game Awards is completely subjective and changes from person to person.
That game looks and plays better than anything they showed off tonight.
This is also completely subjective. I think Phantom Blade Zero looks much better, and that is completely subjective to me.
And I kind of realized, watching this this Let's Play of Expedition 33, like, it doesn't look as good as Prime 4.
Wait until this guy learns what subjectivity is.
Like, Prime 4 is stunning with its art direction, with its stage design, with its modeling, like, character designs. Like, it's phenomenal. And meanwhile, Expedition 33 looks like one of those cheap budget indie, just like bullshit video games.
As someone who's played a little bit of Expedition 33, I can definitely say the quality of all the animations, characters, story, all that kind of stuff is very high.
It is remarkable at just how badly something like Metroid Prime 4 can stop Expedition 33 in every single way, shape, and form and not even get nominated.
Even if Metroid Prime 4 was the greatest game of all time, just 10 out of 10, greatest reviews, 100 on Metacritic from both users and critics, it's not, by the way. It came out after November 21st, which is the cutoff to be eligible to be nominated in the Game Awards. I remember people moaned last year that Indiana Jones and the Great Circle wasn't nominated at the Game Awards 2024, and it's for the same reason that Metroid Prime 4 is not nominated at the Game Awards 2025. It came out too late.
Not even get acknowledged. That is unbelievably cringe. And I do think that is the big major takeaway from this Game Awards show, is that they went full stop in trying to downplay Nintendo's amazing year.
Once again, they tried to downplay Nintendo, but they gave 2 of their games awards? That doesn't sound like downplaying to me.
You know, they never talked about Donkey Kong Bonanza. They never talked about, you know, Kirby Air Riders or Mario Kart World or like Metroid Prime 4 or like any one of these amazing Nintendo games.
That is just factually fucking false. And you're gonna bring this up later.
Like, they instead decided to turn it into the Expedition 33 show. And they absolutely have to do this, because this is what people don't understand, is that Expedition 33 did not sweep this year.
I mean, in terms of awards, it kind of did. It took 9 awards, I think.
Absolutely not, because this is something that could not possibly compete when it came to, like, best narrative. It's not something that could compete with best strategy game. It's not something that could compete in, like, you know, every other genre, you know? Like, the issue with this is that Expedition 33 had to win every single award it was nominated for to create the illusion that this was the best game that came out this year by far.
Why are you letting Jeff Keighley tell you what the best game that came out this year is for you? Personally, I think Doom is the best game that came out this year, and I might say DK Bonanza if I had it. But you do realize just because Jeff Keighley and his cabinet says Expedition 33 is the best game this year, it doesn't mean you also have to think it's the best game this year. Crazy concept, I know.
And it simply is not true, never will be true, and is just a gaslighting campaign, you know, like a symptom of being an industry plant. You know, there's a reason nobody really talks about this game outside of this, like, this Twitter online conspiracy that, like, it's the game of the year.
Most people outside of gaming spheres only really know about Call of Duty, FIFA, and Madden, and maybe a couple Nintendo games. Most people out there are complete normies and don't know about games like Space Marine 2, Wukong, Ninja Gaiden 4, Stellar Blade, Space Marine 2, Expedition 33. They only know about the big titans in the industry. But just because a game isn't in, like, the normie sphere, I don't think that don't mean it can be Game of the Year. I think that's a really stupid take.
You know, that they've been saying that since it came out, okay? That's been part of the grift. It's always been part of the grift. It's always been the narrative. You know, you can find, like, YouTube videos from, like, you know, the Let's Play I watched declared this, like, to be the game of the year, like, 7 months ago.
Maybe that was his game of the year so far. I mean, how is that him grifting?
Like, it's like, it's ridiculous. Like, I was playing games up until the end of the year, you know, long after the Game Awards closed their submissions. You know, like, you know, people are telling me that, like, well, Kirby Air Riders and Metroid Prime 4 couldn't be nominated because they came out too late. And I'm just like, but they're way better than everything else that was nominated.
The quality doesn't matter. It didn't make the deadline. How is this a hard concept for you to grasp?
You know, like, that's just the reality of what we're seeing now is that we're straight up seeing the best Nintendo games get downplayed and ignored, and they'll do any like crazy coping and seething to try and avoid talking about them. And like when you have something like Mario Kart World, which was a huge success, like it straight up got booed at this show.
I will show you guys the clip he is talking about because he was too lazy to include it himself.
Sports racing game. EA Sports FC 26, F1 25, Mario Kart World, rematch.
They straight up said that, like, you know what, we're going to rally behind Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. We're going to cheer for it. We're going to try and push this narrative. And like, of course, like Mario Kart World won the award, okay? Because it's the better game. Like, nobody cares about Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. But
personally, I don't give a fuck about the game, but clearly you do because you cope about it all the time.
What I found interesting was, like, looking at the crowd and, like, clearly seeing, because of the lighting, that there is no actual cheering or booing. It's entirely just, like, the stage thing. So Jeff is legit using a soundboard to create the illusion that people are cheering or booing at certain things. And, like, he made the conscious decision to have people boo Mario Kart World and cheer for Sonic Racing Cross Worlds to try and create this narrative that Sonic Racing Cross Worlds was more popular.
The amount of cope here is probably at a lethal dose. Holy shit, man. The game got booed from one person, well, at least it sounded like just one person, and you have to cope this hard over it. I mean, the person booing the game probably isn't even talking about the quality of the game itself. They're probably more so talking about the $80 price tag on the game, which I think is completely fair.
The Game Awards has no credibility. Okay, like, I don't care if Donkey Kong Bonanza and Mario Kart World won awards. Like, that wasn't enough. Okay,
you don't care that Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza won awards, so you admit right here that they're not trying to downplay Nintendo. And I find it funny that you say that's not enough. What more do you want them to do, man? They gave awards to 2 of Nintendo's games. Do you want them to get Doug Bowser up on stage and give him a toe massage or something?
It's not. Like, the simple fact of the matter is, the real reason why so many indie games were nominated for Game of the Year was because they desperately needed to pad it with games that weren't from Nintendo. Okay? Like, because nothing else came out this year.
That is not true at all. There are so many other games that they could have put up there that were not Nintendo or indie games. Battlefield 6, Doom the Dark Ages, Arc Raiders, hell, maybe even Ninja Gaiden 4. Anyway, if I go on responding to his video any longer, we're just gonna be going in circles, so I'm gonna go ahead and end things here. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like. If you didn't like this video, you can leave a dislike and an angry comment, and yeah, that's it from me. I'm out.